Yeah, good morning, everybody. It's me. I haven't done a blog since September, so a few people have messaged me saying what the fuck's been going on and how you doing, all that crap, which, to be honest, is probably just fake because they just want to see what, they're nosy bastards. So, what has been going on? Well, a lot's happened. Some of the legal stuff's been sorted out. I'm not allowed to talk about it. I've been forced that I'm not allowed to talk about anything. However, I have decided to write a book, and I will be naming and shaming in the book. The book has, in its first draft, has been sent off to the publisher. They are looking at it, and we'll wait and see what happens. I've only sent off the first. It's about my life. It's a biography thing, so it probably won't interest you lot. However, if it gets it out there and shows what happened to me happening to one other person, then it's a bonus. So I make a few quid out of it. Then I make a few quid out of it. Pays for my kids. You know what I mean? Gives me at least I leave them in my will when I leave this planet. So, what am I here to talk about today? Well, this is the Brexit is what I'm going to talk about today, right? And it's going to upset some people, and it's going to, some people are going to agree with me, some of you aren't, some of you are going to think, fuck off, Barry, you're full of shit, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Well, I voted leave. I'm not going to, not because I read because of what 350 million say for the NHS on a red bus, not because Boris Johnson and all the other Nigel Farage and all the other idiots where they said, and not because of what the Remainers said, and don't interest me in the slightest any of that shit. I voted leave because I believe that long term we'll be better off without the EU. Because in the long term, I think laws will be passed slightly. No matter what you could convince me otherwise, but that's just my opinion. I believe we'll be forced in, if we stay in there much longer, we'll be forced in to use the euro. I also believe that we'll be forced in, that they'll take over, there'll be a European army, we won't have our own separate force, etc., etc., which I think is going to be quite bad it's going to be really bad for us. Also for our fishermen, I'm a Cornish fisherman, I'm a Cornishman, and the Cornish fishing industry is, it used to be really big, and because of all the bollocks that goes on with the EU, yes, the French and all them dickheads, you know what I mean, you want to fish, you fish your own waters. We go out and we can keep our own waters and keep it, you know what I mean, do what we need to do. Happy days. Or, so anyway, getting off the story, we're supposed to leave on the 29th of March, which, as we all know, we never did. We're now supposed to leave on the 22nd of May, and then if not, we should have left on a no deal whatever thingy on the 12th of April, which was last Friday, I believe. Again, we're still in the EU. Fucking surprise, surprise. Then you got all these idiots like, every week is a different amendment. Oh, let's vote to do this and tweak that. And then you got, you had that stupid, what's her name, Yvette Cooper. A criminal who passes an amendment and gets it passed by one vote. All right, it passed. But what people don't understand, the British public, people say, oh, well, Leave has voted on the bullshit that that people promise. That's not why most people voted Leave. Some people might have fell for their spill. Anybody that believes a politician, right, needs to get their head sorted out, you know what I mean? Let's look at it. Over the years, every general election I've ever voted in since 1980, since the 80s, I think, when I was 16 and old enough to vote, you get told what their manifesto, what they what they're going to do for their 4 years, whether if you get vote us into power, blah blah blah, and what happens? They get in there and they shaft you. Don't matter whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whatever. Somebody gets the shaft, right? You could all sit there and laugh at me and think, oh, Barry, you're fucking full of shit. But it's true. They all say what you want to hear. You think, oh, I like the idea of that policy. I'll vote for him because that's what she said or he says or whatever. And then when they get into Parliament power, if they've got a majority, and they don't need no help from any other party to make a government, ain't going to happen, son. They're full of shit. They're going to look after themselves and all their interests. I mean, look at the fucking pay rises they give themselves. Look at the holidays they get. They get more holidays than the schools get. I mean, it's bad enough the schools get so much time off. But yet the fucking Parliament get more than that. Do we, as normal workers, get the same amount and the same respect and the same fucking time off with pay? do we fuck. Half of them are fiddling their expenses. You even got a woman in there now who's walking around with a tag on her ankle in the Houses of Parliament. As for that John Bercow, he's not elected by us. He is picked by, I assume, the idiots that were in Parliament. Yeah? And again, see, when Brexit was done, now he's putting his 50 pence worth in. Now, as I've said from the beginning, right, and I'll say it again until everybody out there gets it in their head, it's not rocket science. Okay? No matter what polls you look at, and no matter what Sky News, and BBC, Channel 5, whatever you want to call it, CNN and all them pricks who are full of shit, fake news, yeah? That's why they don't let me, any comments I make, they remove them off their sites. They remove them off their thingy. I have asked them to go on their show so I can go on there and say it as it is, like I'm doing on here. But they're too scared because they know they'd have to censor me and, edit what I say and all that crap. Why? Because they know I'm right. At the end of the day, right, when people... Because everybody thought that the Leave vote would lose. They thought that the Remain would win. It didn't happen. So what happens? The Leave vote comes up. So then you get that little prick Cameron, David Cameron, runs off with his tail between his legs because he's a coward. And, he thought he's shit. He's a traitor to his party. He let him down, he let the country down, he lost the vote, he couldn't handle it, so he thought, fuck this, I'm off, son, see you later. Goes down the road and does what he does. Then you get Theresa May. Now, love her, like her, hate her, whatever, doesn't matter to me. Me, personally, I think she's been shafted in some ways, but in other ways, I believe that she's a fucking fool, so she's her own, herself to blame. She went into the negotiations with that Junker, or whatever his name is, and Barnier and all the other idiots, made up this withdrawal deal with the backstop, knowing damn well that British Parliament would not vote this through. Now, why would they not vote it through? Well, one, because it was a majority government. That's why, wasn't a majority government, so they had to get partners after the last election in 2017. The reason she called the election was because she knew that it wouldn't be a majority, she wouldn't get the majority, so she'd have to rely on others. Now, why would she rely on others? And why did she pick the DUP? Well, let's think about it. Because the only people that the backstop was going to matter to is the Irish people in Ireland. Now, I know people in Ireland, in the Republic and in Northern Ireland. I have friends in Northern Ireland. I speak to friends in Northern Ireland and they voted they want to remain in the EU. Now, I understand their point of view. And that's the way it should be. Everybody's entitled to it. However, they knew by having the DUP... Then they got that. Then they got the withdrawal agreement. They knew they would never get it through Parliament. Why not? Because over nearly, I'd say, I'm not quite sure my figures, so don't quote me on it because I'm not a mathematician. But over 90% of all MPs from all parties, whether it's Labour, Liberal, Democrats, Conservative, Scottish Nationalists, SNP, whatever you call them, Plaid Cymru, fucking Greens, Independents, DUP, Sinn Féin, whatever. Doesn't matter who they are. Most MPs do not want to leave the EU. That's a fact. Okay, you ask them. I mean, that's about the only thing they can make that they are honest about. They don't want to leave the EU. Now, those that do are a minority. Okay, and that's because it's in their own interest and nothing to do with the country's interest. For the likes of me, they couldn't give a shit. For the likes of you, they couldn't give a shit. It is for their own interest that they want to leave the EU. And it's about the old same thing, money. So, let's have a look at this. They knew Parliament wouldn't pass it, so what happens, okay? No deal was obviously what we were told would happen if we didn't have it, yeah? Okay, so no deal. What happens there? Then they start having these little shitty amendments added. Oh, well, we got a vote that we don't want a no deal. Well, it was said that if we did not get an agreement and the House of Parliament did not vote for a deal, whatever deal, it doesn't matter what deal it was, any kind of deal to leave on the 29th of March, we would be leaving on the 29th of March with no deal. Then we get all the last 2.5, 3 years, nearly 2.5 years, all the scaremongers coming out. Oh, this is going to happen. The pound's going to plummet. What else? Unemployment's going to go up to sky high, houses prices are going to fall, blah, 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 and all the other bullshit. We're going to run out of fucking food, we're going to run out of medication, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to run out of this is going to happen, that's going to happen, business is going to leave. Well, let me tell you, since 1980, the businesses that have left England, Britain, whatever, and gone over to EU countries is a lot more than what will happen if we do leave. But anyway, that's not all there. So again, scaremongering. Yeah, people saying, well, yeah, that's going to happen, this is going to happen. They're professionals, they know what they're talking about. Guess what? They're owned by the politicians, mate, you know? Who do you think pays for these big general elections and pays the coffers into these to the political parties? It's business, mate. It's business. You know, who do you think gives them a couple of million quid, and says, right, we need a couple of million to fight the next general election or whatever? You know what I mean? No matter what election it is, you get the picture. Yeah, business leaders, businesses have to pay. That's how the governments, that's how the parties get their money to thingy. So they have to go to people with money, and if the company says we don't want to leave the EU, then that's what they're going to do, and that's where the money comes in, and this is where it all boils down to. Again, it's money, because if the politicians weren't getting the money, and they weren't getting their big pay, not one of them politicians in that parliament since was it 2017 when they had the last election has earned their money, right? All they've done is sat there and done again and gone against the will of the people. Now, vote leave, vote mean, whatever. So we're back to the square of, I can't think of her name now. May decides, oh no, well, let's go and ask for an extension. Fucking extension. Right. The fact is, people, the reason this withdrawal agreement wasn't voted down was because they knew it was voted down. It's because that's what the EU and the British government wanted in the first place. They didn't want it to go through. That's why it was made, the deal was made as it was. You know what I mean? So what happens now? They fuck about with it and they messed about with it and they tweaked it, tried tweaking it, added a little bit of paper, said, oh, well, we can adjust this and we can adjust that, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. Goes back to a second, you know, and then in the end, it gets extended. All right, let's look at it. Stop fucking about. It gets extended. Again, knowing that this extension, first extension, everybody knew you weren't going to leave on the 12th of April if there was a low deal. Oh, sorry, if there wasn't any agreement. Why? So what do? Well, she pretends she's getting together with that Labour knobhead. What's his name? Corbyn. Complete tosser. He's a racist bigot. He's he slags off the Jews. You know what I mean? He's any opportunity. His party's a shambles, same as May's. You know, every one of them. And then you got all these idiots. What do they call them? I don't know. They call themselves the Independent Party or some shit now. You know, that left the Labour and left the Conservative. Well, they're not elected MPs because they were elected while they were in a political party, which was with Labour or Conservative or whatever the party they were with. Yeah, that's where they got elected. So that for starters, they should all resign immediately and call so there's by-elections in their towns or cities or wherever they their communities, and then see if they get voted back in as an independent, stand as an independent. Because I guarantee you that at least 4 of them idiots will not get re-elected. All right, I guarantee you, 110%. Why? Because they were voted in. They were MPs in Leave. They want in Leave constituents, and now they're saying they want to remain. They want another referendum, and they want to stay in the EU. So technically, they're going to lose. That's why they haven't resigned, and that's why they haven't. That's why they don't want a by-election in their area. Because if they stay as independents, they got no fucking chance, and nor have the other 3, to be honest. All right, so that's them out the window. Forget them scabs. They're traitors to their causes, traitors to their people. So we get an extension. What happens? She decides she's going to have a chat with Blair and all that crap. We already know what Blair wants, right? Not Blair, sorry, I apologise. Corbyn. Yeah, just as bad as each other, to be honest. Both arseholes. But what does he say he wants? He wants, the Labour Party, they want to stay in the, let's stay in the, what the fuck do they call it? Customs Union. Let's have a customs union. Well, if you're going to have a customs union, you might as well vote for May's deal, because that's what the backstop technically is. It's going to mean that we're going to be staying in the customs union, because that's what the backstop is, you dickhead. You know what I mean? So no, it ain't. What the reason they're doing that? Move a few more goalposts. What happens? Another deadline passes. We're going to get as another little vote. Takes a bit off, so it's only voting on the actual withdrawal agreement, not the bullshit that come with it. And what happens? Gets voted down again, which we knew. Then there was the amendments again. Blah 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 blah. More amendments about public vote, another fucking referendum, all that shit. Right, it's all done. It still gets fucking, and they can't even get them right. They can't even win, get a majority on the amendments that go through. So, all right, yeah, they can say, well, we only lost by 1 vote, or we lost by 2 votes, or whatever. Ain't the point. You still lost. You're not doing what the fucking majority voted for, right? You're not doing what your constituents voted for. If the MPs, yes, that their constituents voted leave, voted for May's deal or a no deal, right, which is basically just to get out of the EU, guess what? We'd be out by now because that's what their constituents. But they told bullshit, said the constituents they were going to, in the 2017 election, and they were going to uphold the thing of withdrawal and leaving the EU. They didn't. They lied. Surprise, surprise. A politician that lies. Fuck me. What a bunch of knobheads. So now we're at the guys where it's, they've given us an extension for, I think it's to the end of the year, but we can go back in June and have a look, you know what I mean, and whatever, and we've got to fight these fucking EU, what do you call them, MEPs, European election shit. Guess what, people? Ain't gonna matter. Let me tell you what's going to happen, okay? Right, what should happen? They should have if they want another referendum, give them another referendum. However, it should be for May's deal or no deal. Remain shouldn't be on the ballot paper. Why? Because Remain was on the ballot paper last time and lost. So, if it's about leaving the EU and how we want to leave the EU, let's do it. Yeah, what the fuck? I don't care. Put the ballot out there. That way, anybody that wants to remain will vote for May's deal, because the fact is that gives them a bit of a custom union with a backstop and keeps their foot in, keeps their foot in the door, like, you know what I mean? But them that want to leave from the EU and want to leave the EU properly, leave it completely gone, nothing whatsoever to do with it, and want to leave and go on their own, yeah, which I believe is what most leavers, and that, forget your buses and forget all the bullshit that was said in 2016, they will vote for that. No need to vote Remain. People say, oh, well, there was millions of people that didn't vote back in the 2016 election. Referendum. Well, they didn't vote. That's their tough, isn't it? They should have gone out and voted like the rest of us, you know what I mean? We all went out and voted. They thought they were going to sit at home fucking on their hands and knees, sitting on their hands playing their PlayStations or fucking watching the old, Simpsons or something. Tough shit, they lost. So, there you go. That's my thing. If you want to have an amendment, say, right, let's vote on it. Let's have a second referendum with the two options being May's deal or no deal. And I guarantee you that will fucking not get voted through either. However, in the end, it's going to be down to this. They will have a vote and they will say, right, let's have a vote, and we'll have a vote and we'll put it back. In the end, it will go back to a referendum. Whatever. It doesn't matter what they tell you, it's going to happen. They said it wouldn't stop. They said it wouldn't be renegotiated. They said there wouldn't be extensions, blah, blah, and it's all fucked up and lied. It will happen. There will be a second referendum. What will happen is on the referendum, it will be a choice of no deal. There'll be a deal for May, still, and there'll be Remain. Now, what will happen is, because Remain's on there, all the Remainers will vote Remain. Right? All the fucking other people will vote no deal. Okay? Now, what will happen then is, it'll be a close call. However, what will happen is, that's what I want. Now, that's what but it won't do that. What will happen is, it'll be the options of Theresa May's deal, Remain, or Theresa May's deal with a little tweak, which means we remain in the customs union, which is the deal they'll agree with Labour at some point in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And that'll go through, I guarantee that'll go through, but it will only go through with an amendment saying we agree to have the customs union alongside May's deal, but only if we have a people's referendum on it. That will get through the House. Knowing damn well that because them things are there and no deal is off the table, this is what will happen. You'll go into an referendum. So the three choices will be Remain, leave with May's deal and a customs union. That'll be your two options. No deal will not be on that referendum. I guarantee it 110%. So what will happen is the Remainers will vote Remain, and the people that want to leave won't vote. Why won't they vote? Because there's no way of full leave at the EU. Okay? Which is the no deal scenario. It won't be on there. So they'll decide then protest as a protest vote by refuse to vote. And then we'll end up staying. Which is what the EU and all the politicians wanted in the fucking first place. So all this money spent, all that. Right? My opinion is, it's a bit late now because we've got to wait now a year. Right? Got to wait till the end of the year. End of story is, what you should do is some fucking big boy who's got some big money and big pockets, instead of spending all your money and giving them to your parties, Take your fuckers to the court. They've broke the fucking law, right? That Gina Miller went to court for Remain and all that, you know what I mean, to get this over and that through law, through the courts. Why don't somebody do it for here? You know, you see it on the news, but it's a load of bollocks. They ain't doing it. You want to leave, we want to leave. Anybody wants to stay in the EU, it's fine, you stay in the EU. It's 27 countries, you know what I mean? Fucking get on a plane and move there. The point is, the majority voted leave. If the majority voted Remain, I'd be sitting here saying, majority, well, you know, we voted Remain, that's it. You wouldn't be having this. And if in another referendum, say Remain did win, and it was by 2 or 3%, guess what? And then the leavers say, well, hang on a minute, that's not fair, you know what I mean, blah, blah, blah. And I've heard all these people, a lot of my friends are saying, oh, they're not going to vote in the local elections, or they're not going to vote in the next general elections, you know. That's a load of crap, because if you don't vote, the people that are going to stay in power are the ones that are already there, because they've already got the majorities. If you don't vote, you've got to, that's the only reason you're going to do anything is if you do something yourself. You know, people say they're going to get up and protest and they're going to go and fucking do this in the streets and do that. They ain't got the balls. The British people do not have the balls. You're not like Algeria. You're not like Venezuela. You ain't got the... They're their people. They're their publics. Get up off their asses and go out fucking day in, day out. Algeria went out there a few weeks ago. And what happened? They got rid... Their presidents had to go. Why? People power. Yes? You got another ones that have gone out there now. I think it's in the Sudan, is it? Same thing, yeah? Gone out, people power, protesting in the streets. They're gone, right? You look at, who else is there? Venezuela, they're trying to do the same, yeah? You look at, what's his name? France, every weekend they're out protesting about their president. Why? Because they can and because they got the balls to do it. You know, Italy, they're kicking off, you know what I mean? Spanish, Germans, they'll all be next. You know what I mean? People ain't got the balls no more. In the old days, you know, people be out on the street protesting about this, protesting about that. Right, Brexit, people, is not going to happen, okay? It ain't going to happen, no matter what anybody tells you. Even though I voted for it, I know it's not going to happen. I've said it from day one. I told my wife, I said, the day when it came out, the result, I said, you watch. I said, they'll twist it and turn it and add this and fuck about with it. And in the end, it'll go on so long, people get sick of it, and then we'll just end up staying and nothing will change. And we'll have wasted 3-4 years of fucking shit for nothing, right? EU, waste of time. I don't trust them. I don't trust none of them politicians, EU thingies. Did I vote for Juncker? I don't remember voting him or Barnier or any of the other idiots in the power. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I did. Maybe they had a secret vote and I just like walked down in my sleep and something and went and voted for him. I don't know. But the point is, I didn't vote for him. So who the fuck are they to tell me what to do? Right, the hypocrites. The Parliament, they should all be arrested. You know what I mean? They should all resign. Every single fucking MP in that building should resign. And then call the by-elections in every... And me personally, I'd have a general election. You know, now they've got this extension till the end of the year. Why not put a fucking general election in? That'll throw a spanner in the works, isn't it? See how that sorts you out, you pricks. Because you're all going to have to go in there. And it don't matter, you know, people say, oh, they're going to go out there on their fight on their manifestos of, you know, like British, you know, what we want to happen over here. Austerity, poverty and all that bollocks, you know what I mean? Total crap. It'll be about Brexit and they'll have to say what they want. They'll have to say it, you know? It'll still be a hung parliament. I still believe that May will go making if it's to the Tories will make some dodgy deal with some dodgy people. You know, they're paying out money to people to back them. They paid out £1 billion to what's she called, Arlene Foster, to support them. They didn't. Get your money back. You know what I mean? Dissolve Parliament. Simple as that. Call a general election. Simple as that. You know? And the reason they won't call a general election is because Labour know they can't get in. That's why they haven't done another vote of confidence. Because of all the crap that's going on in there. I mean, they've got more criminals in there than what fucking Exeter Prison has. Right? They've got more criminals in the fucking Houses of Parliament than what's in Exeter Prison, mate. Simple. They're all criminals. They're traitors to their country. Not one of them deserves... I can't think of one MP that deserves to be in office from any party. I don't care who it is. Yeah? Me, I vote Liberal Democrat at the last general election. Right? Personally, my MP did not agree with what my thoughts are on Brexit. But that's not what I voted for him for. I vote for an MP because of what he says they're going to do for me or for my community in Parliament. But we ended up with a Tory, Scott Mann. I mean, what a loser. I mean, what a wanker, Matt. You know what I mean? What a wanker. Hasn't got a clue. You know why people, and the only reason the Tories get in down here in Cornwall is not because of the Cornish people. People say, "Oh, well, you Cornish vote for him." It's non-Cornish people that vote for him. You know, the second homeowners, the people that come down here pretending they're Cornish, they move down here, bring their business, but they're not Cornish, all right? They're fucking snobby rich people who vote for the Tories because the Tories look after their own the rich. It's fact. It's fact of life, you know. So, where do you stand? So anyway, that's enough of Brexit for now. I'm sure we'll talk about it again sometime. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing another blog, so I'm going to be doing the blogs every day now. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about what's going on with our own country, with like education, emergency services, funding for mental health, and everybody knows that I suffered a lot of mental health. For the last few years it's been really, really bad, and it's like, the funding just isn't there. I've been told that I cannot go to have counselling because of stuff that happened in my past. It's not, what's the word? It's not, you know what I mean? It's not as important as people that are going through something that's happened recently. That was the bottom line of it from my counsellor, that was. My GPs, they refuse to see me. Okay? They refuse. I'll ring up. Oh, well, there's no appointments. What about next week? Well, no, there's no appointments. No, about the week after. No, there's no appointment. Well, we can let you see this doctor. Well, hang on a minute. That doctor doesn't understand my situation, doesn't know my thingy, what do you call it? Doesn't know what I've been going through, doesn't know anything about me. I don't have to keep going through it all, talking to certain, you tell somebody about what's happened to you over the years. And it's hard. The first step is to tell people how you feel, how you're feeling, what happened to you. You tell someone, and then what happens? They take it away from you by, then they expect you to tell somebody else and somebody else and somebody else. And you don't want to do that. That's not what it's about. There's groups in my town, there's a group that's opened up in my town. And it's like, do I go to it? I haven't got the balls to go out and do it. It's not, what I mean? I just can't face it. I've been in a pretty bad way the last few months, and it's like, how I'm still here, I do not know, I really do not know. If it weren't for my wife and my kids, I wouldn't be here. It ain't now, people sit there and they'll be on there and be reading this, watching this, going, yeah, fucking everybody says that, we all have our bad days, and so I'm just watching the newsy old bastard outside my window here. So I'm in the front room. But at the end of the day, nobody knows me. You haven't been in my shoes. You've never walked my shoes. I hope to God you never even have to walk poking through 1% of what I've had to put up with over the years. Right? But we are going to be talking about it seriously. My book, I will be talking about it even more. I've already been told that certain names I've had to change. I've got to change names in it, but legally. I'm not allowed to put their real names. But what the fuck? I don't care. I've got the photo. I've got photo evidence. I've got tape recordings which I can use, providing I don't mention the names, or if I do, I use an alternate name of conversations that were made in all the stuff I did a couple of years, like over the last sort of what I'm talking about, which I'm not allowed to discuss, with regards to family and stuff, and lawyers. Football, we're talking about the mighty Reds, Liverpool. Wow, what the fuck? Is it our year? Who knows? It's in there. It's not down to us, is it? It's up City now. They win every game. Last 4-5 games they got left. They win the last 5 games. They're champions. As simple as that. We dropped points where we shouldn't have done, but we say it every year. Next year will be our year. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Football's a funny game. You know what I mean? What else are we going to talk about? There's a lot of things we're going to talk about. There's things that I'm going to be planning on doing. Scabs. We're going to be talking about scabs, backstabbers. You know what I mean? What the worst, lowest of people of all men are. Lowest people the lowest. We're also going to be talking about work. Because obviously of my mental health and the issues I've had, about the lack of support and the lack of compassion to give people the chance that have been through what I've been through over the last few years. a lot of people are saying, oh, you shouldn't be putting blogs out, you shouldn't be saying this, you shouldn't be that. Employers are allowed to go and watch it, and they tap your name in and they see what you say and all this, and that's why you don't get nowhere. That's not what it's about. People shouldn't be judging me. You know what I mean? People should be willing to ringing me up, messaging me and say, oh, Barry, I've seen your thing, you like, give you a chance, you want to go? Would I do it? I don't know. You got to have the right situation, the right time, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, it's not about money, because I took a minimum wage job last year, after, back in September. And it worked out, it went all right till January, and it just sort of went, February. But it had to, it just wasn't, it just, me health got worse again, and here I am. But, we'll be getting into that, we'll be getting into a lot of other things as well. Life in general. I've got some surgeries coming up as well, in a few this year. So, doing blogs about the National Health Service, because I'll be in there. What else? Any other topic I want to talk about, really. So, anyway, it's been a blast. Like I say, these opinions are my own. They're not, I'm not fucking, I'm not going to take any bullshit. I'm not going to listen to any feedback. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion on Brexit or anything in life, okay? You all are, I am. This is my opinion only, not anybody else's. I'm not a kiss ass. I'm not a kiss ass like 90% of England, people. I've had my say. I've sent emails to MPs. I've sent even sent a letter to the Prime Minister, telling her to get her ass off her, ass, go into Parliament, stand at her podium and say, was it Prime Minister's questions? Right, I'm still here today. There's no questions today. I'm just telling you here. I'm here. I'm resigning, and I'm calling a general election. End of. Kiss my ass, pricks. You know what I mean? That's what I would do if I was her. She's done her job. Don't matter win or lose, she's screwed anyway. So, you know what I mean? She wants to go out, do a tour, speak at schools, at colleges, universities and stuff, write a book, you know what I mean? Do what she's got to do. She's set for life, money-wise. She don't need to freaking be doing this shit. Retire from politics, kick politics out the door. Then when she's done all that, she can have a say on what she really thinks of Brexit. And they'll tell us what she really thought about it and everything, you know what I mean? And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, to be honest. Anyway, so it's now 10 to 10 in the morning. I've got to sign off now, because, I've got things I've got to do. The wife's left me a little list that she wants me to do while she's at work. So stuff I've got to do around the house. So enjoy your day if you can. It's a bit breezy out there. Be safe, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Cheers.